Tanse, I'm Chris Nachkite. Welcome to APTN National News Daytime on this Friday. A First Nation in southern Alberta is advising its members against all travel to the U.S. And if members do cross the border, they need to take all precautions, adding that the Jay Treaty and even Indian status cards are being challenged by U.S. border officials. In a statement posted to their website, the Blood Tribe says their citizens have been stopped and even detained by U.S. agents, including from the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. They say Indian status cards are not being accepted as proof of blood quantum, and that additional proof like a blood quantum letter from the band is needed. Blood Leadership is also warning its members that any First Nations person going into the U.S. should also carry their long-form birth certificate, their passport, and any other provincial documentation that shows they are born in Canada. They say the 1794 Jay Treaty should prevent any issues when crossing, but its effectiveness is unclear during this period of unrest. In a statement, Blood Tribe leadership added, "The Blood Tribe joins with other First Nations in protesting the disregard and lack of respect being given to the Jay Treaty. We urge Blood Tribe members not to rely on the fact that we have a right to pass and repass the border freely, and to take all precautions to ensure that their ID is up to date and in their possession when traveling." The Assembly of First Nations also condemned the U.S. for not respecting inherent Jay Treaty rights for First Nations people. They also advised First Nations people to use caution and have all required documentation when crossing the border. A Gwich'in man from Inuvik in the Northwest Territories says he was temporarily detained by United States border agents last week when they demanded that he produce blood quantum documentation. Harley Manakis says the detainment occurred at a Texas airport when he was traveling back to Canada with his family following an international trip. He says border agents separated him from his wife and 2 children as they were going through customs. Manakis says he was flagged because of a minor marijuana possession charge from more than 20 years ago. According to him, agents told him he would need to prove he was at least 50% First Nations or be held for processing. He says agents also threatened to revoke his Jay Treaty rights, which guarantees the free passage of eligible First Nations peoples across the U.S.-Canada border. Manakis says after his First Nation was able to provide the requested documentation, he was released about 2 hours later.
More or less, if you don't need to go there, don't go there right now. Like, whatever headaches they have going on there, we just don't need to be a part of it.
And you can read more about that story by going to our website at aptnnews.ca. It was a week of tension in Greenland, from a threat by U.S. President Donald Trump to take the territory by force, to a government advisory preparing people to survive at home for 5 days without power. But as APTN's video journalist Angel Moore reports, day-to-day life continues as Greenlanders' lives go beyond politics.
I'm here at the wharf in beautiful Nuuk, Greenland. The city is bustling today as people get back to their regular lives, clearly tired of the international attention. For example, it was business as usual as locals shop for seal. Elias Ling is a former fisherman. He now works at the market. He wanted to talk about fish, not Trump. Ling says fishers are more worried about the impacts of climate change. He and other fishermen have been talking about it. They are afraid that the fish is going to disappear when the ice melts. It becomes small parts of ice, and sometimes big, so you can't even fish because of the ice. Last week, the world's eyes were on Greenland after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to take the Danish territory by force. Trump claims the United States needs Greenland for U.S. national security. Trump eventually backed down from using force and announced a framework deal. Greenland's Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, addressed Trump's plan. He said there is a high-level working group to find a solution. Nielsen was asked by a reporter if he could believe Trump would not use force to take the territory.
This is, as I said, this is about world order. This is about international law. This is about respecting territorial integrity. I believe that the world will not take that turn so drastically. I have to believe that, and I believe the Western Alliance, in a good partnership, can grow to be better.
But for Team Greenland, it's sports that's on their minds and not politics, as they prepare for the upcoming Arctic Winter Games taking place in Whitehorse in March.
It's about sports. So what we're going to focus is sports and how the sport bring us joy. Mm-hmm. So it's important for us to take these things with us.
Mm-hmm. I also think that people and the whole delegation are looking forward to go there so we can have a great time together and not think about anything else. Mm-hmm.
Sport is alive and well in Nuuk. Michael Kleist and his daughter Carla catch a women's soccer game. Carla is 14 years old. She is a badminton player on Team Greenland. Michael is the president of Greenland Badminton. He says the Arctic Games and cultural events are important to celebrate.
We hope that she will enjoy and meet some new friends and take it as it is. It's a long way from here, but I know they are looking forward to it, and I know even though Carla is quiet, that she is looking forward to going as well.
Greenlanders continue to live as normal as possible despite the uncertainty. People who did not want to appear on camera said people are scared of the uncertainty. Sarah Olsey is the international chair of the Inuit Circumpolar Council. She says Trump's threat of annexing Greenland is a direct threat to Indigenous rights.
We have become the case that everybody talks about, but the change that we are seeing expressed through what is being done to our nation, Galashlitnunad, is a change that will affect all of us all over the world as Indigenous peoples.
Talks have begun in Washington between Greenland, Denmark, and the U.S. officials over Arctic security. Angel Moore, APTN National News, Nuuk, Greenland.
Treaty chiefs are reminding Alberta Premier Danielle Smith and Albertans that the province does not have the authority to separate from Canada.
Treaty trumps legislation.
It's about time that the general public educates themselves on treaty and how the province came to be.
Treaty 6 and 8 chiefs were joined by other Indigenous chiefs on Thursday in Edmonton to call on the United Conservative Party government of Alberta to respect treaty rights. The chiefs say the treaties are with the Imperial Crown, not with the province of Alberta, and Alberta has no jurisdiction over their lands. Grand Chief Joey Pete says beyond the legal implications, the idea of separation is stoking racial discrimination.
The violence, the hate, the division that it has caused for our communities in our local towns, it's dangerous for our people to be going into the towns.
And we signed treaty to share it with you. We didn't sign treaty for separations for you to pack your belongings to go wherever you want to go. So Premier Smith and the UCP cabinet, I hope you have your bags packed, because when this referendum is defeated, I will gladly walk you to the border. Senator.
Indigenous groups have launched legal proceedings against the province over Bill 14, which allows for citizen initiative petitions saying it fails to align with Canada's constitution. The spokesperson for the Justice Department says Alberta honors treaty rights as recognized by the Constitution and says it does not have any comments on the lawsuit as it is before the courts. A young Inuit mother is dead and her baby is presumed to be deceased in Alberta following a short but extensive investigation by Alberta RCMP. The father has since been arrested and charged with a number of serious offenses. Here's an update. Last Friday, RCMP received a report about a suspicious item in an apartment in the area of Rivercrest Crescent in St. Albert, Alberta, a community just northwest of Edmonton. Upon arrival, officers located human remains of a deceased woman, and Alberta Major Crimes Unit took over the investigation. The remains were identified belonging to 23-year-old Ayla Igutuk Learn from Cambridge Bay, Nunavut. RCMP also became aware of Ayla's 9-month-old daughter, Braylee Beasley, who was missing at the time, and RCMP increased their efforts to find her. Last Tuesday, RCMP identified a suspect in the investigation and arrested 33-year-old Christopher William Beasley at a hotel in St. Albert. Alberta RCMP say Beasley and Igutuk Learn were in a common law relationship, living in St. Albert since April of 2024, and baby Braylee is their daughter. Beasley has been charged with 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of indignity to human remains. RCMP say they have reason to believe baby Braylee is deceased, and they are now looking for the remains, adding they have an understanding of where her remains are located.
The gravity of investigating the death of a 9-month-old to a young mother in a safe community is immense. The officers who have worked on this file, the impact on the public is tremendous and will be felt by everyone.
Our thoughts are with Ayla and baby Braylee, and we are absolutely focused on doing right by them. We remain resolute and firmly committed to continuing all investigative efforts to locate and bring this little one home.
Christopher Beasley has been remanded in custody. His next court appearance will be on February 2nd at the Alberta Court of Justice in St. Albert. We also have more details on this story at www.aptnnews.ca. Another First Nations person in Alberta is missing. We'll bring you an update right after the break. Welcome back. The Edmonton Police Service is asking for the public's help in locating a woman from the Saddle Lake Cree Nation in Alberta. 34-year-old Bobby Steinhauer was reported missing last October, but a police public notice wasn't issued until November 7th. Edmonton police say they believe Steinhauer may have succumbed to the cold weather. Bobby was also not connected to any shelter services and may have been living on the streets. Bobby Steinhauer is 5'5", very thin, and has short brown hair. She was last seen wearing a bright orange zip-up hoodie. Police also say that Bobby has involuntary head movements and has a large bald spot on the right side of her scalp. If anyone knows where Bobby Steinhauer may be, you are asked to contact Edmonton Police at 780-423-4567. 2 people have died and 3 others have been seriously injured in a 2-vehicle collision in the Sunchild First Nation in Alberta. On Wednesday at around 8:30 p.m., Rocky Mountain House RCMP were called to the Sunchild First Nation. They found 2 people deceased and 2 more people with serious injuries in 1 vehicle. The driver of the second vehicle was also seriously injured. The 3 injured were taken to hospital, 1 by helicopter. The dead include a 66-year-old woman from Sunchild and a 64-year-old woman from Rocky Mountain House County. There's no word on the condition of the 3 injured people. Sunchild First Nation is located about 270 kilometers northwest of Calgary. Residential school survivors in northern Saskatchewan are set to receive long-awaited restitution following a class action lawsuit against both the province and the federal government. Canada has signed a settlement agreement ahead of court proceedings. On Thursday, Federal Secretary of State Buckley Belanger met with residential school survivors in Isla Cross to sign a settlement agreement. Survivors of Isla Cross will receive between $10,000 to $15,000 depending on attendance, with $10 million dedicated to healing, education, and commemoration. The 2022 lawsuit against Canada and Saskatchewan followed the Isla Cross school being excluded from the Indian residential school settlement. Canada signed an agreement in principle for $27 million in March of last year, while the government of Saskatchewan offered $40 million to survivors last September. Court approval for the agreement with Canada is set for March 30th. The Superior Court of Quebec recently authorized a class action suit impacting Indigenous people in Quebec. It seeks damages for abuses experienced by Indigenous people in youth protection centers in Quebec. Our APTN reporter Savannah Craig shares the story of one woman who survived one of these centers and still feels the effects of her experience today.
A family prepares for a new baby on the horizon. Mother Chloe Turktuk is excited, but experiences from her childhood cause anxiety too.
They would restrain me, and then when I couldn't imagine someone doing that to my kid.
Turktuk is referring to her experiences in youth protection centers.
So yeah, they would like hog tie you, and then they'd throw me into the van and bring me to this place. It was like a jail. And
she says youth protection workers would call this place the quiet room. Turktuk says if she was a few minutes late to curfew, she would end up in the quiet room.
It's just a bare square room with a door, with a window, and holes on it. They would put me in the quiet room quite often because I would cry, and they would call it resisting.
Turktuk attended 5 group homes as a child, all between the ages of 12 to 17. Now she may be eligible for compensation. A class action lawsuit is being pursued to seek compensation for First Nations, Inuit, or Métis in Quebec. Individuals are automatically a part of this class action if they attended a youth protection center between now and October 1st, 1950. Individuals also qualify if they experienced abuse, discrimination, were locked up, and more. The class action seeks damages against 19 institutions in Quebec.
Class actions generally don't remedy the problem.
Cindy Blackstock is an advocate for Indigenous children's rights.
They get a little bit of financial compensation and maybe a recognition of the injustice that those individuals have suffered.
She says governments need to solve the root issue of children being placed in youth protection centers.
We're looking at things like their parents, multi-generational trauma that hasn't been addressed with adequate culturally based services. And then on top of that, we have the poverty, the poor housing. Those are really the drivers that create a circumstance where a young person is more likely to come to the attention of child protection services.
Turktuk agrees that this class action won't heal her past.
I don't think any sort of money can ever take back the developmental years of your life.
APTN News reached out to Alexiev attorneys who represents the defendants to request an interview. Lawyer Lev Alexiev said he cannot provide an interview at this stage of the case. Savannah Craig, APTN National News, Montreal.
We have more news after the break. We'll be right back. Miigwech for staying with us. Rain in Halifax at -7. Flurries in Fredericton at -10. Cartwright 0. Happy Valley Goose Bay -3. -15 in Quebec City. Montreal sunny and -17. Ottawa -20. Toronto -14. Elliott Lake -18. Sioux Lookout -26. The Paw -23. God's Lake -24. Winnipeg -22. Dauphin -25. Sunny in Regina at -18. Snow in Swift Current at -6. Partly cloudy in La Ronge at -10. Stony Rapids -11. Cloudy in Peace River at -2. Fort McMurray -5. 7 in Calgary. Lethbridge 10. Partly cloudy in Vancouver at 11. Rain in Kamloops at 4. Clear skies in Fort Nelson at -5. Smithers 0. Snow in Whitehorse at -3. Watson Lake -6. -16 in Fort Simpson. Wrigley -19. Sunny in Paulatuck at -19. Colville Lake -19. -24 in Baker Lake. Chesterfield -17. And -24 in Clyde River. Aglulik -27. A Métis Muay Thai fighter from Winnipeg hopes to compete in Thailand this year for the amazing Muay Thai World Festival. APTN Sav Jonza brings us this story on the A-class fighter.
Ashley Viner is kicking, kneeing, and jabbing her way to the top of the Muay Thai world. Winning medals left and right, she has only one goal for the World Boxing Council's upcoming international competition in Bangkok, Thailand.
I will be hoping to come home with gold. I have a bronze and a silver medal from the WBC through Muay Thai, so a gold would be amazing to complete the set.
Now she just has to get on Team Canada to compete. She's been preparing non-stop for the February 1st tryouts.
A lot of training, so a lot of cardio right now. I'm doing a heavyweight cut, a lot of pad work with my coach, so a lot of endurance, making sure that I can withstand the 2-hour tryouts.
Last year's Amazing Muay Thai World Festival took place in Italy and saw 99 countries compete. She placed bronze in her weight class, but the real win was bringing Red River Métis representation to the international stage.
It was amazing to be able to have my Métis flag represent my nation in front of the Coliseum in my, Team Canada outfit. I wore my moccasins. You had a lot of people saying, yeah, you can tell she's from Canada. Look at her moccasins.
2025 was a busy year for Viner, who also won a gold and silver medal at the World Kickboxing Association Championships in England. It's a lot to balance, traveling for fights, training 6 days a week at the gym she owns with her husband, while also being a mother to 4 kids and holding a full-time job.
It's just been time constraining being able to train and go to all of these places around the world. I was invited yesterday for the World Martial Arts Federation to go to Istanbul, Turkey at the end of March, so that's something I'm really, really considering.
She will soon fight for the women's Canadian title at another Indigenous-owned gym in Alberta. The A-class fighter hopes to pave the way for other Indigenous women looking to harness their inner strength in the world of martial arts.
I want to send a message to all of the young girls out there that getting into a competitive sport is amazing, not only what it does for you physically, also for what it does for you mentally. And in the world we are in today, being able to have self-defense skills, I think, is huge, especially for our high-risk girls.
Sad Jones, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
And finally for us, in case you don't have plans for Saturday night, we have you covered. The Hockey Night in Canada in Inuktitut crew is back. Fans can tune in to APTN this Saturday and listen as Pujut Ki Sagak, David Niying Neo Nuan, and Robert Kupvi To Yohan delivered the second Inuktitut Hockey Night in Canada this year. The game between the New Jersey Devils and Ottawa Senators marks the second out of 3 games in Inuktitut this year, before the broadcast series moves into Plains Cree. The Devils beat the Ottawa Senators 4-3 in their last game on December 9th. Catch the game on APTN this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for the exclusive Inuktitut commentary. And that's your daytime newscast for this Friday. Dennis Ward is back for your evening newscast in a few hours, following an all-new Nouvelle Nationale French newscast with host Kim Sullivan. Please join us then. From all of us at APTN National News Daytime, hi miigwech masicho. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next Monday. Ekse.